I think comedians are some of the best digital marketers. Like I think, and the reason I think this idea kind of came to my head maybe a week or so ago. I was at the gym and I was listening to Joe Rogan and Bert Kreischer. He's the machine guy. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's that guy takes for the listeners. If you don't,
I was trying to explain who he was to some family the other day. And like, it's really hard. Like you start talking about it and you're like, yeah, he does stand up with no shirt on and his beer gut hanging out. And, he became famous. Yeah. He became famous for robbing a train with the Russian mafia. It's like, it's weird.
Well, and I've heard podcasts, like I've heard people talk about him. I think Tom Segura was talking about him, and he's like, that story, that machine story, he's got like 20 different variations. Like he has a ton of different variations on the story that he can tell. And depending on what night how the crowd's reacting to certain things in the audience, like he'll take he can lean into different pieces of it. That's interesting. Yeah. But I think Joe Rogan's the one that told him to tell that story more. And then he started blowing up. Like it's kind of a weird thing listening to Joe and him. But they were talking about like social though. What were you saying? Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, this is like a really interesting thing that I've learned is like, when you have something hit, like when you have a piece of content that hits, like double down.
Oh yeah.
Like in that, like if it's on YouTube or a blog, like write more stuff around that, record more stuff around that. Yeah. It's on TikTok, make it again, post the same video again. Like you can post this, you can post the same thing. And like, once you have something work, like that's kind of the thing with growth, like, especially on TikTok is like something works. You just keep doing it over and over and over, and it drives your growth while you try other things.
Yeah.
So like, I think there's something to that. Like, oh, hey, you have this thing that's working really well, like double down on it, keep doing it, use that to build because it works and it's going to work with everyone. And then while you're finding the other stuff.
Well, then you can like layer on top of it, which it seems like that's what Bert did. I didn't know his comedy at all before the machine thing, but I remember seeing the machine thing and I'm going like, that's really funny. Why does this guy not have a shirt on? But I still couldn't tell you why he doesn't have a shirt on. I don't remember. It just makes him stand out. Like, I think you got to be known for something, especially in the comedian world, but like they were talking about social though. And they were talking about Theo Von, and it was just interesting. Mm-hmm. It was like, it was them just talking about like, Bert was like, man, Theo is in my feed constantly. He was like, he's like working the algorithm. Like, and you heard them go from like comedians to like the digital marketer that's really behind the comedian. It's like, or just the marketer in general. And it's like, these guys they are sitting there and thinking about how they can go viral on different platforms and how they can grow their subscribers and what kind of content is going to work and not work and how they can take their podcast clips and turn it into. So it's just like, really, it's like the same thing that we do, but that like, they're just doing it really, really well. Like I see more, and part of this is because my algorithms are like tuned in for comedian stuff. But if you think about the reach that Joe Rogan has on his podcast, and then like Theo Von or Bert Kreischer or Tom Segura, like these guys have massive podcasts. They have massive social media followings. They make tons and tons of money.
There's a guy, and I don't know his name, but I know he's got a podcast. And it's another comedian, and he's been crushing it. I want to say Adam something.
What does he look like?
He's got like a mustache, like a skinnier guy.
Nick something.
Oh, maybe.
I can tell you probably who it is.
I'm like, I know I saw a video with him recently.
Yeah.
So I'm just like scrolling. Here we go. What is his name? What is this guy's name? Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Come on. Andrew Schultz.
Oh, Schultz. Yeah. Schultz.
Because like he's got the crew, right? In another genre, you've got in the sports world, like one of the fastest growing podcasts out there right now in sports is, oh gosh, where's my brain today? Now I'm losing him. The punter from the Colts.
Oh, God. Yep. I know who you're talking about. Used to be Barstool.
Yeah.
Barstool.
Oh my gosh. McAfee, Pat McAfee, man.
McAfee.
And he's just got the boys. Like they got that, those guys got it down. And I think why comedians got it so figured out is because when you think about it, like they know how to write hooks. They know how to figure out what's working and what's not. It's really interesting. I watched a Joe Rogan interview the other day, where he was talking, maybe it was the Andrew Schulz one, where they were talking about his new comedy club. And and basically they were talking about how material evolves and how they do it.
That's fascinating.
And there was a discussion about like somebody I know what it was about. Woody Harrelson did the SNL skit. I don't know if you saw it.
Mm-hmm. And I saw it.
And it was like talking about it. And he was talking about how like the difference between doing a monologue and stand-up is like a monologue. It's like you have a short amount of time, you're putting it out there, like it's got to hit. Whereas like stand-up, you might start with that, but then it grows and it develops, and it might take them 6 months of doing shows to get it dialed in to where it's like, this is what it is. And there's so much of like, did this work? That didn't work. How can I connect these pieces? And like, that's digital marketing, right? Like that's what worked. I need to do more of it. Testing hooks. Yeah. Like you can do the same video over and over and over with different hooks and different titles. So they've got the skill already developed.
It's an amazing thing